Hey, Dereck. Cheers. Um, yeah, I'm back with another video. I had to make a response to Dereck's contest. Even though I happily pre-ordered this, and it's lovingly signed by both Dereck and Tim Guthrie. In fact, you don't even have to put me in the hat. Although that record with Jessica Pavone looks pretty interesting. But I wanted to come on and vibe because Liz, my wife, is out of town. I've been down in my studio making some noise. As you know, I got this record coming together, and Dereck's question is pertinent. And Dereck already knows because he was one of the first people to welcome me into the VC, and I made like 3 introductory videos where I go on at length about music and what it means to me and my history, and if you really want to know, go back and watch those videos. But it's a topic that is endlessly fascinating to me. Why music? What is it about music? I don't know that I know the answer, but I know what my experience is. And there's making music, and then there's listening to music. And so there's music, and then there's records. And they're 2 different things. I pulled out this book. So, Music King by Christopher Small, The Meanings of Performing and Listening, published by Wesleyan University Press. I read this way back when it was published in the, late 80s or something like that. And then I got a copy. And in my wordy liner notes to my CD, I quote from this book. But here's a guy, Christopher Small, who's really examined the why of music. And while this is taken from the point of view of going to see the orchestra play Beethoven or whatever, a lot of what he has to say really hits the nail on the head about why music is important. And one of his theses is that music represents the ideal relationships from the performers to the listeners to everyone that makes it possible. Music manifests human relationships as we would idealize them. Whether it's the ultra togetherness of a string quartet or the seeming anarchy of free jazz, music, much more than real life, embodies a way of being that is an ideal, and only seems to exist in that ideal musical space. And so there's another thing that he gets at in this book, Christopher Small, is that the same thing in the visual arts. Everyone is innately musical. Everyone is innately visual. Everyone is innately artistic and creative. But in the Western world, anyway, the dominant culture stamps that out in a damn hurry, don't they? Whether it's a kid and his finger paintings, oh great, and then it's like, oh, that doesn't look like a horse. I've said all this in my other videos. But it's especially true in music, and that's been my experience, especially as someone who went through a conservatory kind of thing, not in a way. I saw it up close. Music is this powerful thing that can transport us to what we called in the band, this band I played in back in the 90s, we used to call it that other better world. And I had my first glimpse of that, really, as far as like musicking, making music, being musical. I had the good fortune of being, like I said in those earlier videos, I had the good fortune of growing up in an affluent community with an excellent public school, with an excellent music program. And so there was an elective thing you could do called madrigals, which was a cappella singing, mostly 16th century madrigals. And at the time, maybe it's still around, I don't know, the music education has been so decimated. I don't know if it's still around, but anyway, so this is, I'm maybe a sophomore in high school or something, and so we would rehearse, and it would get to be good, good enough, that we would go and we went to this competition, and I can't remember whether we won or not. We probably didn't. And it was only a fleeting moment, really, in this sort of maybe 3 songs we sang. But there was a fleeting moment where all the voices were in tune and in time, and it was, it made the hair on the back of your neck stick up. And that feeling is something that I've chased ever since, and so why music? Because music allows this connectedness with other humans that I can't think of any other art that does this. I love all the arts, but music can connect you in real time to another person. And I think that even if you're just in the audience when music is happening, you are also can be connected. We're all musicking. I guess I'll stop, except to say, why records? Here are a couple of new test lacquers, reference lacquers. I recut my album. I'm going to make another video talking about that because that's fascinating if you're a record geek. But this music and making records and the idea of listening to records, it's like the meta music. There's musicking. A record tries to capture it, and it's an important thing. I mean, obviously I've got thousands of records, and in the best of them, I think you can put it on even if you've heard it many times before and have it memorized, because it's this fixed thing. Really great records will still thrill you with that sense of connectedness to whatever those musicians were doing. You feel it, whether it's an old Edison cylinder or a high fidelity audiophile or whatever, It's not the same thing exactly as being in the music as a player, but it can be really close. And And even when it misses, who does it hurt? On Easter Sunday, I posted a picture of a CD, a box of B minor Mass, and I wrote, "Art is my religion." And I don't mean to be blasphemous, but art, literature, and most of all music is the highest thing that humans have ever done. Especially music, because it, right in the moment of its unfolding, allows us to connect to each other, to that other better place. I don't know if you can hear what's going on in the background. This is something I did here in my studio using some synthesizer emulations. It's too bad that money corrupts so thoroughly everything. As long as people continue musicking, then life continues to be worth living. That's my response, Dereck. Much love to you. You are the godfather of the VC. And yeah, you can keep the records. I just wanted to vibe. Love to you all.